morning. Do you hear us?
Good morning. How's
Good
the
morning.
weather in Finland today?
The weather is very beautiful at this moment, but not raining. It's cloudy.
Okay, glad to hear it. So,
Okay.
the floor is yours today. The audience is at their TV screens, looking forward to hear about best vocational education practices from you today. So, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much. I have possibility to make my presentation here in high quality conference. So my presentation is concerning about best vocational training models here in Finland. At first, I would like to say some words about our education system in Finland. Our education system in Finland is based on equity, trust, responsibility, and also highly educated teaching personnel. As you can see from the picture, it starts early childhood, and after the basic education, you have two pathways at upper secondary level. You have general pathway and the vocational pathway. After these, both sides, you have possibility to go to universities of applied science or universities, so to get a bachelor degree or master degree. And of course, for example, if you have chosen vocational qualification, you can be as a doctor if you want and you have capacity to do it. That is our system. But immediately I have to say that if you have choose vocational qualification, the main reason is that you go to work, you go to job, but you have possibility to also continue your studies. Okay. Then we have, I can say we have three key points at this moment. So as you understand, the education must change with changing society and working life. And that is important point in our education, also in our vocational education. We know that the financing, we have lack of financing in many cases, so reduced financing changes the traditional teaching group-based school model. That is also important to know because of reduced financing. And teachers and their work must be managed also at this time. Now I want to say some words what kind of new law we have. We changed here in our Finland our vocational education and training law from 2018. And this is the picture of our new vocational education. And now I would like to show one short video concerning about this. Please, can you do it?
As today's working life is changing all over the globe, so is the Finnish vocational education and training changing with it. In Finland, vocational education and training, or VET, is open to all, young and old. Admittance is continuous throughout the year. In addition, for students completing their compulsory education, there is a joint national application in the spring. When you are accepted into a VET programme, you draw up a personal competence development plan together with your teacher. You get your previously acquired competencies recognised and plan how to gain any missing skills. This can be done by acquiring just a module, some modules, or a whole qualification. You acquire only the missing competencies, and therefore study times can also vary. You can learn in a goal-orientated and guided way in workplaces, at vocational colleges, workshops, or simulated learning environments. You are coached and supported in every step of the way. A highly qualified teacher is coaching you throughout the progress, and you have your own trainer at a workplace. The VET teachers exhibit a close connection of theory and practice. The vocational qualifications in Finland are developed in close cooperation with working life. You can acquire the missing competencies either at school or at work, usually as a combination of both. You demonstrate your skills in competence demonstrations in workplace real-life situations. An assessment is based on the national qualification requirements. The Finnish VET qualifications are generally broad, and all of them are composed of both compulsory and optional modules. Finnish VET provides skills sought after by organisations and society at large. After gaining your qualification, you can continue your studies in higher education, or move straight into working life and to a respected position within your sector. And most importantly, since the changes in work are ongoing, you can always return to VET to reskill or upskill. The newly reshaped Finnish vocational education and training provides a future-proof model for continuous and up-to-date competence development.
Okay, thank you. I want to highlight some points concerning our new law. So we have experienced almost 4 years now concerning new VET law. So now we have only one law concerning VET education. So before that we had 2 laws for young people and for adult people. Now we have one law, they are together. For every student, we plan personal competence development plan, and we also update it during the education. That's very important in our law nowadays. And if you have experience or if you have competence beforehand, it doesn't matter if you have get it from school, get it from hobbies, if you have got it from, for example, working places. It doesn't matter, but we have to accept it when you are doing your qualification. So the time can be different in different people. So that's also important to understand. And when we educate in our VET, we have to demonstrate our competence, and it happens in working places. And there are 2 evaluators who evaluate this competence. One of them is the representative of working place, and the other one is teacher. And they together evaluate the competence, but they have to show the competence mainly and in working places, in job places. That is also one important thing. Now we have less degrees, less qualifications here in our VET education. Before 2018, we have about 350 different degrees. Now we have 160, a little bit more, 164. So we have less, but those degrees are wider. And also one important thing, you can apply every day to vocational education, and not only twice per year or so. You can apply every day if you want to vocational education and training. It's important also that on the job learning has increased, and we do it very deeply with our working life. What is also very important, we also change our finance system. In future, I will tell it more, but I have to say that about 30% of funding is based on performance and effectiveness. And for example, my organization, we have about 14,000 students per year. we have one license from Ministry of Education. It's cover everything. And also we changed our teachers' working hours. Every teacher, they have 1,500 hours per year, and they have about 12 weeks holidays. And that is our system nowadays. But the teacher's competence and those business contacts and also the workplace learning, they are those important points and how successfully the goals of the professional training reform are met. VET coaching approach, there are some key points also. So the main point is of course the personalization, and it's goal oriented. I told about this competence plan. It's goal oriented. We of course highly support those students, and we are doing together. And one important thing is this, together with working life. We are very deep with our working life in different areas here in Finland, also here in North Karelia, where I come from. And functionality, those are our coaching approach in here in VET education. Okay, we have also this, of course, this learning environments, and it's based that students have a possibility to choose what kind of learning environments they want to get. We know, for example, this corona situation, this distance learning has increased, but especially here in vocational education and training, it's not always possible to get competence, but it has increased. And then we have this classroom teaching. We have our own buildings, own equipments, and before they go to working life and learning there, we can practice in our school. But as you can see from this picture, learning in working life is very important. It's very important, and it's also goal-oriented. And when we talk about this finance, so at first I have to say, if we have license from Ministry of Education here in Finland, the education here in VET, it's free of charge for students. And I mean, especially when they are doing qualification education. So this is state finance. For example, my school, our turnover is about 63 million euros per year, and about 90% from this turnover comes from the state, from Ministry of Education. But when you think about this qualification finance and this state finance, this is the new system, finance system what we have. 70% is basic funding. We can call it comes from student years. We don't calculate amount of students, but we calculate student years, and one student year is 365 days. So one student can give one student year if he or she study the whole year. But for example, if 12 students studied only 1 month per year, it's also one student year. But 70% comes from there. And then 20% are performance funding. And it comes if students get degrees or parts of degrees. And 20% comes from there. And they have those individual competence plans. Some student can be, for example, if we before 2018, many qualifications took about 3 years. But nowadays it can be 1.5, or it can be 2 years, or it can be 3 years. It depends what is the competence before they start and what is the competence plan, and it's very individual. So 20% comes from performance funding, and then 10% comes from efficiency funding. So when students get job, that is, by the way, the main thing, because we are doing this for our working life. But of course, they have possibility to continue their studies. But when they get job or further, if they further studies, and also feedback. So the feedback from students and also the feedback from working life. It has also it gives also money to VET providers. So it's very important all the time when we organize our VET education that we have planned it that they will get a job, and for example, the feedback from working life is good, so we will get more money. But I have to say that of course that means that we have some kind of competition between VET providers, because you know the amount of state money it's a certain amount, and those providers, web providers, who will get best results, who have more student years than the others, who will get more degrees or parts of degrees more than the others, or whose students get jobs or feedbacks better than the others, they will get more money than the others. That is our finance systems nowadays. And then we have, and this is very normal in web providers here in Finland, that we have this kind of daily balance scorecard. It means that every day those measures which are here, they change. So I can see from computer how is now, for example, student years today, and so on. And this is the way how we measure our results. So we all the time we measure our employment percent, I mean students' employment percent, and further studies, and also student years and how many degrees they have got. And then, of course, we measure these dropouts. We have those also, and because they have to demonstrate their competence at work, we also calculate it, and of course, financial things, turnover or profit, and so on. We have to calculate every day. And then when we talk about personality, we also measure our personal's competence development percentage, and what is important, we also calculate that every teachers, they have to have working life periods, and we measure also this one. And what is also important when we talk about employees, so the atmosphere, what kind of atmosphere we have here in our different VET providers. And the customer service quality, student feedback, work feedback, And we have also life partnership agreements. We measure those. And of course, this internationalization is very important in our VET education. Some words about these partner services. We have, because as you noticed that the cooperation between working life is very important. And we have these partner services which are based on agreements, and where are all our service possibilities what we can give to working life, to business or to public employers. And for example, personal competence mapping, all 164 qualifications we can offer to different companies, and we together we discuss about this kind of things, and also we discuss about the on-the-job learning. We have two ways to do the on-the-job learning, and they are apprenticeship and also study agreements. And this is also the new, also from our new law 2018. So apprenticeship, and there is some money movements, but then we have also study agreements, and there is not any money movements. And when we plan these partner services, we also plan what kind of students you want to have, and when, and what kind of on-the-job learning, and so on. And also different further training planning, card of competence training, other personal competence development services, and also we have, as I mentioned, we have this qualification based finance, but we have also finance from, for example, labor ministry, and that is, we compete also those education with other providers, and that is one part of our finance also. But we plan with working life all these together with some companies. So the partner services is based on agreements where we offer all our possibilities and also all our financing options. And that is way how we do it. And some words about the partnership agreement. At first, so the main point is that when we discuss with companies, we want to provide added value for the customer, for the companies here in our area, for the public employer. And as I mentioned, we offer all degree and all education services in the same paper. And we, in this partnership agreement, we have one contact person from customer side. All our education, it doesn't matter if it's metal education, it's business education, healthcare education, whatever. It doesn't matter. We have one agreement and we offer all things to them. And there is one contact person from our side. So it's easy from the company to take contacts and then continue the discussion with our plan. And we solve the partners' competence requirements. It's systematic and target-oriented cooperation. We update the agreement and needs systematically. And that is also a way how we do it. And those companies have been very satisfied that we have this kind of agreement. So we help them, and of course we will get also the education. That's good agreement. There are some examples, only some examples, those companies with whom we have these agreements. We have a lot of them. This is one part of them. So to every CEO or owners, we have signed the contract that we offer them all our education services, and that's very good. We can help them, and they're very satisfied. Then when we talk about VET education, I want to tell about the way how we're doing this. This is one way to develop skills and competence. It is the skills competencies. For example, national competitions, it's Taitaja, it's Skills Finland. We start from there, and then we take part to Euroskills also, and then some of them also the world skills. And we think this is very important also, one possibility to our students to take part of these skills competitions. But we think it's also important here in our VET education. This is one, I'm very proudly present this one because we organized here in my area here in Joensuu, and we arranged and hosted by Riveria this national competition 2019. And I have to say that there is the picture also the right corner about this our competition. The budget, I have to say that it was 3 days competition, the national competition for VET students, and the budget was about 5 million euros, and half of this budget came from companies from my area, and some national companies also, and the half from this budget came from the Ministry of Education. But you can hear and you can understand that it's very important. Our companies also thinks it's very important for them. That's why they invested also to this our national skills competition, which happened here in Joensuu by Riveria. And we are very proud that, for example, our president Sauli Niinistö was the first time he took part to this competition. I wanted to see what kind of competition this is. And there is the picture. He is the gentleman, the center there. Also, we are very proud. Our Minister of Education, Li Andersson, she is also. She thinks this is very important for the Minister of Education side, and also she was supporting this competition. Now, why skills competitions? Competitions are linked with national VET policy. We, on our national level, we think competition is a process. It's not only an event. And we, for example, in my school, we hope that every VET students have possibility to take part of competitions. It's very good experience for them. And I have noticed that those students, for example, who for example, go to national competition or European skills competition or world skills competition, they remember it all life, and they will get a lot of possibilities after that. But just take part to this competition. I have to say that every student who take part to these competitions, they are also winners. And that's also, we think, here in Finland like this. It's also the network benefit. There are companies and VET providers together, And that's important, this network also. It's long-term development, and it's also innovative, very innovative. As you can see, there is one Finnish team. I think it was a world skills competition, but it's good way to develop VET education also. This is the national level. And how about then what for us? How we think why this is important? So there are in practical level there are a lot of benefits in VET education. I think so. These skills competitions. It's of course, for example, in my side and my at this moment is my school. I think it's developed our vocational education training. It has done it. We have seen it. It's of course one big possibility to our teachers, and also big possibility to also to students. It's increased cooperation between companies and also educational institutions. It's big happening, and it's increased cooperation. It's strength, and it's the link between working life, and we are doing it together, and that's also important. And those companies also think that they have a lot of benefits, these kind of things, and they think that they will get good qualified, high qualified employees to their businesses. I have to say that also when we talk about VET students, many of our students come from entrepreneur, and those new entrepreneurs, for example, in whole Finland, they mainly come from VET education. Maybe immediately when they get, for example, qualification, or later on. But those new, it's about 60-70%. They are from VET background, and that's important. And after that, they hire different other employees. We have very good, very many examples about this. So it's career opportunities also for our people. So, Mrs. Chairman, this was my presentation. I want to say thank you, and I'm so proud about our Finnish VET education, and thank you very much that I had possibility to give my presentation. And if you want to take contact later on, you are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Esa, for your really inspiring presentation. And, we have some question from the audience. And Daiva from our audience have a question for you regarding the vocational education integration into general education system. I mean, whether there is in your country some actions related to possibility of gain the vocational education qualification while being not in vet school, but while being in a simple school, I mean in a secondary school or gymnasium. Is there such an example? Do you promote it?
Yes, for example, because if we talk about, we have very good cooperation, and we have to have with basic education, and also very good connection to especially University of Applied Science, because they also handle with this vocational education. But for example, in our if students has chosen vocational institutions VET provider pathway, they have possibility to also to make the general the matriculation examination. It's possible. So you can get 2 degrees. You can get the vocational qualification and matriculation examination if you have capacity, if you want to do it, it's possible. And then we have pathway. We have pathway to bachelor degree and pathway to master degree. But of course, the main thing is that they will get the job. But of course, we have very good cooperation between general education when we talk about VET education.
Thank you, Esa. And there is one more question. I see from your presentation that vocational education reform really had a huge support from the political side. And you, in your presentation, mentioned a new system of funding. And especially it is interesting was to hear about the performance-based funding. And my question is, we tried here in Lithuania in 2018 to introduce the performance-based funding in VET. And it seems that you are successful in this. We are still in a discussion process. My question is, how much time did it take to you, to all of you, to all stakeholders, politicians, vet schools, external stakeholders, to find this compromise and finally introduce the performance-based funding?
That was a good question. I think it took about 2 years.
Okay, thanks. It was just, inquiry to know how long we might still be, at the table of discussion.
Okay.
So, Esa, thank you once more. I think the audience who are interested in contacting with you will get your contacts and will definitely, maybe you will find a new cooperation perspectives here with vet schools in Lithuania. Thank you, Esa, once more.
Thank you very much.